Good morning. Here we are again. It is Thursday morning. My phone is just telling me I'm going live. Let's turn the sound off. And you join me as I am just putting the names for the draw for the who's going to receive all the cards that I did live yesterday in my bucket. So good morning. Do come on and say hello if you are here with us. Morning, Em. Morning, Beryl. I'll do them all on raffle tickets because then I know that they're all a nice even size, and I'm going to be able to rattle them round in my little bucket here. So that's all the names in. I've had quite a few names, so thank you. All of the draws and things over on my VIP group, I shall be sorting those out and announcing the winners after this. Yeah, obviously I found it a bit difficult to get going this morning. I feel as if I've run a marathon. Oh, perhaps I have. So let's rattle these up. But before we do that, let's have a little look at what they're going to get. So I have said that to enter, nominate somebody, a friend, to receive all the cards that I created yesterday on my live. So when I've come back and looked at them this morning, I'm quite pleased with them. I think we didn't do a bad job yesterday. So we've got the cards that you using the floral suite. See, I'm going to be struggling with words today. I can tell. Language is going to be difficult. Flowers for every season. The flowers for every season suite we started off. So we've got a couple of sunflower cards and the one with the jars. So those were the flower cards. So that's 3 that are going off to whoever comes out of this hat. We also looked at the World of Good suite. So we've got our globe and we've got our quills and ink pots. So those are adding into the pile. We then went to have a look at the Forever Greenery suite. So we've got this card with its hoop, and then we've got this little wreath that we made up with the stripy paper. I shall obviously put envelopes with these as well, and I shall put any inserts inside that need to go inside. I haven't got round to doing that yesterday. Once I'd finished last night, I didn't do very much more, surprisingly enough. In Good Taste suite, we made these we used the papers for that one, and then the stamps for this one with that background stamping. So a couple more cards to go in, and then finally we finished off by playing with 2 bundles, and we had the confetti flower bundle. I don't think that's its official name. Let's have a quick look. Punch bundles. It is the Field of Flowers with the confetti flower punch. So that was our Field of Flowers card with a punch bundle, and this was our Birds and Branches that we made, this little trifold card with its little missing flower that I've left tucked in there. No wonder I couldn't find it anywhere. So that's all the cards that are going to go to our lucky recipient. So drum roll, and let's see whose name is coming out. So it's going to Deb. So Deb Brazier, who was nominated by Bonnie. So Deb, I know you've had quite a tough time. There are quite a few people that on that list that had a tough time, but I know that Deb has. So I will tuck that in there, and I will get in touch with Deb and arrange, once those have all got envelopes and inserts, and I've taken photos of them and all of those sorts of things, I will arrange to get those delivered to her. So thank you for yesterday and being with me. Those of you that were, it was a good day. But today's a whole new day, and we need to get back into some sort of routine. So morning, Helen. I am exhausted after yesterday. Lisa, hello. Emma, morning. But then lots of you were in and out with me all day as well, so you must be fed up with the sound of my voice. Right. So don't forget that they're all through June. There are these 2 promotions. So you've got your pick a free bundle starter kit promotion. So get your starter kit, and you get a free bundle of your choice to go with it as well. And if you want to see what that means in practical terms, what that looks like, do go back and watch the video I made, because I sort of made up a pretend starter kit and sort of show you the value on that. And also the annual catalogue kickoff celebration, you do get extra goodies if you hi Angie. You get extra goodies if you host an event during June, and your event can look like lots of different things. And again, you'll find a video that I made all about that, but you will also find that yesterday's blog post was all about the promotions as well. So lots of information out there. Okay. So, and that host code still stands if you want to do any shopping. That's here endeth the news broadcast. Let's get on with some crafting. Now, we didn't actually specifically play with this bundle yesterday, but I needed to use something for today. And I saw a fabulous tip for using this the other day that I want to share with you. And I actually tried it out yesterday, because I did use that after off air. I did go on to use that to create the label on this card. And I did use that particular tip. So let's see where this takes us. I only have very vague thoughts in my head. And I think that's like full stop. That's not just... Excellent, Angie. You've got a new team member today. Great stuff. I've got a conversation with somebody tomorrow. So all lovely stuff. But we still need lovely customers. So do keep sharing. Do keep sharing the love. Do keep telling other people about us and where you found us and what we do, and inviting them to come and play too. Right, a piece of Whisper White card, and I'm going to trim it to 13.9 by 9.5. Not even picked any inks up. Oh, what colours shall we go? Shall we go? Pastel, bright, this way, that way, forwards and backwards over the Irish Sea. Let's go. Let's go bright, I think, and we'll have a bit of coastal cabana and a bit of flirty flamingo, a bit of daffodil delight, a bit of granny apple green. Do I want another one? We'll go gorgeous grape in case we do. Okay, so we have a colour palette of some sort. Let me have a dig about in my adhesives box. Ooh, oh yes, I have got some purple tape. That's good. Right, so this purple tape is actually getting quite towards the end of the roll. So I'm actually, what you can't see me doing off camera is actually sticking this on my, across my t-shirt, to deliberately pick up a bit of fluff. Could do with a woolly jumper, but I haven't got a woolly jumper on this morning, so we'll have to hope that I've got enough fluff on my t-shirt just to take a bit more of the tacky off, because we're then going to use that and we're going to create a mask across the middle. About like that, I think. I am thinking that what I might do is take the, grab my sponges, my bright sponges, Morning, Karen. Megan. Right, I've got my granny apple green dauber, and I'm going to take my granny apple green dauber and then just kind of very gently sort of dabble up that edge. Tickle, tickle. Nothing very hard or very harsh, just a little tickle. And it's only very faint, but once we take that strip off it will be a bit more obvious. Right, okay, and then we're going to have a look at all these little stamps in here. Now you can see I've not even popped these ones out of their background. Let me get these floral ones out. And let's see, what shall we have? I think we'll go with this one. We'll pop the backs on as we go. Have a little pile of rubbish building up, why not? Thank you, Karen. Siren whizzing off somewhere. I'm going to stamp some of this sort of almost ferny like leaf one first. And then let's come in with this bigger flower. Oh, I didn't wet my Simply Chamois this morning, but actually I did wet it quite well yesterday. I think it's still quite damp, so that's okay. This bigger flower we were going to come in with next, weren't we? So let's take the back off of that, and I could stamp without putting the sticker on the back. This will cling to your block. But while we're here, while we've got the chance, let's face the music and dance. There we go. I think we'll go Flirty Flamingo with this flower. Now again, I think we were talking about a stamp set yesterday that it's going to be, you know, you can absolutely use it in its own right as we are here. But it's also going to be really useful for adding in little elements into other cards and other projects, and I think this is one of those sorts of stamp sets. These little sort of buds, I think now. I was quite surprised actually. I came in here this morning and I was sort of half thinking, oh, what sort of a mess did I leave it in when I eventually collapsed in the heap last night. But actually I'd been relatively tidy and I really had sort of cleared up as I went along. Quite proud of myself. Right, I think I'm going to come in. With some gorgeous grape, but I think I'm going to stamp it off first. Yeah. We've got another leaf just here. Just here. And we'll do that in Coastal Cabana. Almost just want that leaf sticking up. And then stop a moment and think. I think I don't want to put I'm going to come into the Forever Fern stamp set and I'm going to pick up this little spotty number and my Daffodil Delight. And I'm just going to add in some little spots of Daffodil Delight in the background there. Right, this is the moment of truth when we peel back our tape. And reveal our strip up the middle. That's quite pretty. So obviously this set then has these really nice long greetings that we're going to sort of be able to put along there. Hi Sally. Did you rest at all yesterday? Not yesterday I didn't. It was all go all day. In fact, I don't think I drank a hot cup of tea the entire day. I made myself them and then they didn't get drunk. The best I did was when Mike came in from work and he made me a cup of tea and I think I managed to drink that, half of that hot. But that was the best I did, I think. He did make dinner. I had told him that if he wanted dinner, then somebody else was going to have to be responsible. It was either going to be a takeaway job or somebody else was going to have to cook it. I knew that wasn't happening on my agenda, but it was good fun. It was all I'd got it all planned out. I have to say I planned very well. I'd got it all written down. I'd got lots and lots of things scheduled. So all the posts that went out, the videos and things that went out, they were all scheduled beforehand. So it's been a busy week really. And a busy day today. But we need to keep up the routine. So, love is what makes us family. That's rather lovely, isn't it? And I'm going to put that. Is that looking as if it's resting nicely down that angle? It does, I think, hopefully. Oh, dear. I think is what we want to say there, isn't it? Oh, dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm going to cut a piece of Coastal Cabana card. To 14.4 by 10. Sit that on there like that. Then we need to decide whether we're going to go butterfly, bird, I think we'll go bird actually. So that is the little bird from Grace's garden. Thank you, Grace, for lending us your bird. Where are you? Here we are. So let's stamp a little bird in. Oh, excellent. See, I could have done with your cardigan to put my sticky tape on, Angie. What colour bird shall we have? I think I might go Granny Apple Green. Don't want to. No, let's go Daffodil Delight. Let's add in a little bit more yellow. We'll have a yellow bird. I remember singing a song about a yellow bird. We used to have like taped singing lessons back in the day when I was young. Yellow bird up high in banana tree, I think it used to go, something like. Right, let's cut out our little yellow bird. Our little yellow bird that we're adding in to cover a blob. I obviously did this on purpose as a training, teaching exercise. This is what you do when you put unexpected blobs on your card. You have a little yellow bird. It's going to sit on the top like that. Excellent. Okay, let's stick those on. So we've come in with a couple of different stamp sets there. What did we use? We used the little splatters out of the stamp set, out of the Forever Ferns, and we've used the little bird. It's going to sit on there. Out of Grace's garden. To cover our splatter. Hi, Joanne. I have warned everybody that language is not an easy thing this morning. I think I've gone blah, 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 overtired. So I may well spout more rubbish than usual. So stay tuned for the laugh. Right, put the lid on that so that we don't stick our card in it. And I'm going to score this. I've got a piece of the extra thick Whisper White here that I used yesterday. I cut one long way, so we'll make this a tent fold card to use up this. that little bird die away. Those are the ones that go missing, never to be found again. Tiny, tiny dies, but incredibly useful, as we have just discovered. So there's our first little card. So we used all of those little floral stamps out of that set, out of the Lovely You set. And you'd be able to do whole background sheets with those. So you'd be able to do a one sheet wonder with that very easily. It's the sort of stamp set that really lends itself to those sorts of things, where you can just take a blank piece of card, be it a 6x6, a 12x12, an A4, and just stamp those randomly all over to create your own sheet of designer series paper. And then you can cut that up to make lots of little cards. So this set would be perfect for that. And it's really nice when you're doing those. You've got that really nice little one just here that would be really nice for adding in some gold embossing or silver embossing, depending on your colourway. Lovely. Right, let's pop that set away. They're really nice, these sentiments in this set, actually. So that was Love Is What Makes Us Family. Miles apart, but still in my heart. Cherished friend. Trust me, you're lovely. Smile, that's a nice one. Let's cheer you up. It's a good one if you're feeling a bit down. Heartfelt. Always, just because you're my person, and wildly grateful. Not just grateful, but wildly grateful. So a good set of sentiments. So a nice sentiment set, as well as having all these lovely little floral images and things in there, which as I said are going to be just so useful just for adding a little bit extra to other projects. So when you just need that just needs a bit of something in the background. Oh, we must put that one back in the right box, otherwise I should be looking for that. When you just need that little bit extra, much like we did with that splatter. Actually, I need like a little splatter stamp. Oh, here's one in this set. So there you go. Very useful. Okay, what shall we do for our second card? I wanted to show you the punch, and I want to show you this tip that somebody put up, I think on the demonstrator Facebook page, but it just was, it was brilliant. And as I said, I used it yesterday because I had seen people asking about how you know what size to trim your tags to. So let's take one of these greetings and we'll make a tag for it, and then we'll decide what we're going to do with the rest of the card. I'm going to actually take some black card. I think I have it in my head that I fancy doing a black and white card. I do like a black and white card. My challenge over on my VIP group last week was a colour challenge with black, white and grey, and people really enjoyed that one. There is something quite striking about monochrome backgrounds. Right, so I am going to trim some strips to 1 inch wide. Now this particular punch, you get two, it's pick-up punch, you get two ends. So you get this flat end and you get this curvier end. So you can decide which end you want. For each end you get 3 choices of widths. So it's 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch and an inch. First top tip, make it a smidgen, just a smidgen under. So don't quite go up to the inch, just a smidgen under, and that just makes it a little bit easier to sit it in that groove. So top tip number 1. And I think I'm going to want I think I could do with a 5th one. Stay. I'm just going to grab another little bit of card, and we'll do a 5th one. Okay, they're different lengths, but I'm not worried about that at this stage. And they're all going to be cut down a little bit, I think. So I am going to of all of the cards, if any card is going to be mildly fluffy when you cut it, it's going to test the sharpness of your blade, the black card is the one to do it. It must be something about its makeup, about how it's constructed, put together, or whether it is just the fact that it's such a bold colour that it shows up more, I don't know. Right, quick slurp of nearly cold tea, and I think we're going to go with Trust Me, You're Lovely. Let's find our, let's add that backing to our little pile here that's growing in the background. You're okay, Jane. We don't mark the register here. Morning, Carol. You pop in and out as and when you're able and you want to. Right. Trust me, you're lovely. I'm going to come that way. And I'm going to go with a Versamark, and we're going to get our no longer available but still much in use embossing buddy. All else fails with the embossing buddy. If you're really stuck, buy yourself a pair of pop socks, like the knee length tight socks things. Pop some corn flour in the end, tie a knot in it, tight the, it's not as good, but it is a make do and mend version if you can't get any. Right, I'm going to leave a bit of a gap either end. In fact, I'm going to come here, I think, and we will stamp Trust Me, You're Lovely. Ooh, just got embossing powder everywhere there. I think I'm going to come in, now then I think I want that little sort of almost cross between a flower and a fleur-de-lis with spots. I don't know, that's the best description we're going to get today, I think. Embossing paste on my fingers, so it's obviously everywhere now. Let's get a tiny block. Before I heat this up, because what I don't want to do particularly is heat it twice. I'm going to put one in that end. Oh, I didn't re-embossing buddy that, so hopefully we've done so well, but we've overstamped that end a little bit. Notice how it becomes wee when I make a mistake. It wasn't just me, governor. Okay, so let's heat that now. I'm just going to take a minute to get hot. There we go. Right, trust me. Oh, just moved my heat gun around and wafted my powder in my box. Trust me, you're lovely. Right, let me find this punch. We're going to go curly ends or flat ends. I think I'm going to stick with the flatter end. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that in there, and you can see that fits in that channel quite nicely. Push it right, let's open the punch, push it right to the end, just there. Give it a quick look just to make sure that we're happy that that is nicely lined up. Don't lose that. Pull that out, and we've now got a beautiful tagged end on there. Now we want to do a beautiful tagged end on here, and we need to know where to cut it to get a nice even point. Now the person that I think showed this said you have to hang on to the doohickey. So remember that, hang on to your doohickey. Then you take your doohickey and you line it up so that, and it's not easy to see this necessarily with black card, but we're going to, oh that's not bad, we're going to line it up so that we know where we want that curly bit to come. So it needs to come sort of about there probably, to be even on that other end. So having decided where you want that curtain to go, you then just draw a line down there, and I now know that if I cut that there, I'm just going to use my snips. Let's see. The theory worked yesterday beautifully, so let's see if it works beautifully today. We're going to push that in there. Again, we're going to make sure that we're happy that that is flat and lined up. And look at that. Perfect. So the trick to using this punch is to hang on to your doohickey. Okay, I want you all to remember that. Not my tip, but I loved it. I love things that are going to stick, that will fire in my brain. That whole thing of hang on to your doohickey, and you'll hear me no doubt say it every time I use this punch, and I apologise in advance, but there may be somebody that won't have seen it every time I do it. But thank you. I can't even think what the name of the demonstrator was that came out with it, and I have a feeling it might have been a man. Not that that makes, you know, much difference, but I think just because that was because of the way that the language that they used, but it just was like, yeah, genius, absolutely love it. And it solves that question of how do I know where to cut it? You hang on to your doohickey. Right, got embossing powder absolutely everywhere. How have I managed that? I'm going to line these up on my sheet. Might come back in with, actually perhaps not my purple tape because that might be a bit wide. I'll come in with a bit of retired washi tape, and I'm just going to stick that there. So this is very along the lines of the cards that are on the front of the catalogue. We're going to come back in with some of our floral images. There's a couple that I didn't get round to using, but we're going to do it all black and white. And the little flower, I didn't put the back on either, so let's do that one and then we're good to go. Come here, little flower. Come here, my flower. Right. And that way, I think. Now, quite tempted actually to we'll do some flower arranging. On our block. Then we'll come in with that little one just there. Right, so what we're going to do is we'll get our embossing buddy and come over the top of there. Dual purpose of putting on the embossing powder and the embossing buddy powder, and also brushing off the excess white. Right, I'm going to take this and stamp it this way. Now obviously some of that is going to go over onto that tape, but I'm not worried about that particularly. And then I'm going to take it again and just catch the light so I can see who it is and come this way. Right, let me move. Let's move everything out of the way because I'm going to bring my embossing powder to that while it's all sitting there, and then we'll gather it up afterwards. So let's move everything else out of our path, get rid of any other little bits. And then I'm just going to sprinkle this all over the top. Like that. Let's take up our tape. If I get hold of it, let's come this end. Now, if this does tear, I'm not worried because I wasn't planning on keeping the entire length. I was going to chop it down anyway. Not bad. We'll give that another flick in a minute. Let's take that off of there. Right, we'll turn that over. And then we'll come in with this. Now I think this is going to stick, this washi tape, to this card, but that's okay. As I said, I wasn't planning on necessarily keeping it all. We'll go along these and just brush off any excess as we go. One. Next. Two. And not too worried about the ends because I'm going to chop those off anyway. Oh, just caught that one again. And last but by no means least, that's really caught on there, but that's okay. Let's get rid of that. We might need that bit. Right. Oh, Anne, 4:43 in the morning. That's very early. Morning, Mags. What name of the long white tape? That is it's washi tape. Washi tape. Okay. Right. So yes, Anne, if anybody is answering Anne, she's deaf. She's profoundly deaf, so she can't hear us, but she watches us, which is really lovely. So hopefully she'll pick up that I've just commented. So apologies while I stopped and commented for her. Right, let's heat these up. Wait for it. Obviously you don't have to go to the effort of doing all this in white embossing powder. You could just stamp it. You could do it tone on tone. That would be quite pretty. Right. I'm going to chop these down. I'm going to have this coming in the middle. I think I might swap some of these round. So let's get a piece of Whisper White. cardstock. I'm going to cut that to 13.9 by 9.5. So 9.5 in inches is one. So I want these to sort of be somewhere between, so that's the width of our card. So I'm going to chop off this end and going to come there, I think, and then there. So that one's about 8. This one will make 9. Take that end off a bit more, I think. And we'll make this one, in fact, make that one 8.5. They're all different sizes, and this one I'll come back to 9. Then with these, I'm not worrying about, I haven't got a sentiment to worry about with these, so I can just do my ends. Just responding to Anne. Last but not least, okay, got lots of little doohickeys there. Let's bring back in our white card. We're going to have our greeting coming across the middle, and then the rest of them sort of quite randomly placed, I think. Swap that one with that one. Something like that, I think. And sticky, sticky, sticky. This one we want to come right across the middle, and it does that quite nicely. This one we'll bring back over this way a little bit, and the bottom one need that one just to move up a smidge. Are you going to move up a smidge for me? It's quite stuck, but hopefully I'll get it. I'm not worried about the backing paper on it necessarily, just want to move it up a smidge. Let's get my big block and give that all a good press down. Right, I'm going to grab a bit of black card. Oh, grabbing a bit of black card, not such an easy task as I thought it was going to be, because it's a new pack. And we're going to cut this to 14.4 by 10. And that should hopefully instantly make that pop again, and then we'll have that on a white background. Now, I'm just wondering, whether to add in a thing of ribbon or not. I'm thinking not, actually. Just typing a response for Anne. She's asking how COVID is in our place. It's not easy to type on my phone while it's in its stand, because half of the letters are behind the yeah, the riots are awful in the States, aren't they? I'll respond to her in a minute. It just is an awful situation all round. Terrible times. Right, let's pop that onto a Whisper White card base. Like that. could really do with some nice black gems, but we haven't got any. I wonder how black they will come out. I don't think I've tried colouring gems in black. Let's see how black they go. Oh, pinged it. Ooh, that's pretty good. It is like a very dark, almost black. Stand still. Pinging all over the place. Quite liking the colouring the pearls at the moment, possibly more so even than the rhinestones. Quite like the effect of the coloured pearls. Let's find our tool and we'll just put a few of these. We'll have one here. Those are quite a good black actually, aren't they? Right, those are a striking contrast, aren't they? We've gone from pretty bright colours to a very striking black and white. You seem to have drooped. Let's just pick you back up again. I think I need to give my stand a bit of a wiggle. It is a bendy one, so it appears to have bent out of shape, needs resorting. Okay, so there we go. So that's using this lovely pick a punch and the lovely used stamp set, and has included that tip in how to know how to cut your strips in order to meet your greeting, to match your greeting. Or indeed the same would apply if you're wanting to layer it. So if you're wanting to put a layer underneath it that's a different size and you want to know where to cut that off to get that length right, that tip works exactly the same for that as well. They do look good colour back, don't they, Megan? So there we are, there's something I've learned. Right, I am going to go and have a hot cup of tea now and some breakfast. I've not done that yet today. So breakfast and a hot cup of tea coming up, and I will be back now then at 11 o'clock UK time. So in an hour or so, there will be an All Request Friday post going up. So do vote for what you want me to use tomorrow. So it's all over to you, ladies. I'm sure it's 11 o'clock. I've posted that to go up. I will go and check that that's what I've done. Now I've said that. But yeah, so 11 o'clock today, so in an hour's time, there should be a post going up for you to choose what I'm going to play with tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing what you decide. So be back in the morning.